Hello, and thank you for joining me in my presentation. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of employee training. First, I'm going to start off by explaining why employee training is important. Employee training is important because when receiving the appropriate training, employees are able to perform well in their job and strengthen their skill sets required for that job. Employee training also gives employees a feeling of confidence in themselves and their abilities, which leads to better performance and job satisfaction. No one likes to be thrown into a position where they have no idea what's going on and no idea what to do. That makes employees feel bad about themselves for being lost, or maybe it may lead them to feel inept when that could be avoided by having the right amount of employee training. Next, I'm going to talk about a personal work-related problem that I have experienced with employee training. I started working at Ruby's Diner as a host in 2014 when I was 16 years old. It was my first job. I received a large amount of training in that job, which made me very confident when I got to do the shifts on my own. Because my training first included 3 different shifts of shadowing a worker, and then when I got to work a shift by myself, I felt very confident in myself. I then became a server, and that also required a large amount of training. I had to learn the menu and go through the different skills required to be a server. Then I transferred to a different Ruby's location and realized that location did not train their employees correctly. The hostess did not know how to seat people correctly, did not know how to rotate between the sections of the servers. The expos, which is a person who takes the food out to the table, did not have any knowledge of the menu, did not know what the food was supposed to look like, and so then took the wrong food to different tables. That caused problems for the cooks, because then the cooks would have to make a new order every time the expo messed up. It also caused problems for the servers, because then the customers would get mad. Without the proper training, the restaurant is a mess, and everyone is spending extra time trying to figure out things that they should have been trained on before working their shift. Therefore, having the right amount of training is very important for every position in the restaurant to work smoothly. In the textbook has a lot to say about employee training. First, it describes 3 theories that are important for learning. It says that 1 is a social learning theory, which underlies the importance of observational learning. It says that people learn through watching others. The second theory is the modeling theory, which states that people learn best through observing others and then replicating their behavior. Finally, the third theory is the cognitive learning theory, and it says that human nature is to process information, and that the way in which information is stored and retrieved determines how we learn. The textbook also says that there is evidence that if organizations provide adequate training, employees are more likely to have higher job satisfaction, organization, and productivity, and are less likely to quit than those who receive little to no training. The journal article that I found on employee training looked at the effects of organizational training on organizational commitment. The research question addressed in the journal article was about the impact of organizational training on employees' commitment. The questionnaires include 4 different aspects. It measured the employees' willingness to participate in the training, the employees' perception of training, what and how much the employees expect to gain from the training, and lastly, their sense of support from the employees of their managers. The findings suggest that all the aspects of organizational training positively impacted employees' perception of organizational commitment, proving that employee training is crucial for the success of an organization and that the success of its employees within the organization. So if employees looked at the training in a positive way, then they were able to get more out of it, and then they were able to perform better in their job. The resolution to employee training. If I was an Iowa psychologist and was called into Ruby's Diners to fix the training problem that they have, I would start by meeting up with the managers to educate myself on the policies of Ruby's and what they expect from the workers. Then I would proceed to talk to the employees to assess their training needs and to set goals for them. The training at Ruby's would be done through observation observational learning, and modeling. A new worker would shadow the experienced worker throughout a few shifts in order to learn the procedures and tasks involved in the job. Then the experienced trainer would also go through the daily tasks and explain why they are important. After the new worker has shadowed the experienced worker, the roles would switch and the experienced worker would then shadow the new worker on a different shift. This would allow the experienced worker to assess how well the new worker would do if they would to start a new shift on their own. Then I would have the employees learn the menu and take a test on it in order to have a lot of knowledge so the customers will feel like the employees there are able to help them. I would also have the employees at the end rate their overall experience with the training and express their concerns. After I receive their input, I would revise the training protocol depending on the feedback. The reason I would do this is because the textbook states that without feedback and without actually applying the feedback that a company gets from their employees, the employees will not feel as though they are listened or that they have a say. But if you implement their feedback, then that makes them feel like they are being heard and that they have a voice. That's all for today about employee training. Thank you for tuning into my video.